In this video, I've picked up an SOS from all you new managers, and I'm gonna help you get the job done and get it done right. Thank you for checking out my channel, Leadership with Mike. On this channel, I help managers become leaders, and I do this with no nonsense sense, if that makes any sense. If you haven't already, consider clicking the link below to join our Facebook group. It is Leading with Leaders. Anyway, let's get into the video and let me help you. So what's the first thing that a new manager needs to understand? They need to understand they got a new job. They need to understand they're not responsible for their old job. That's a difficulty that a lot of new managers have. They don't know the new position, so they go back into their comfort zone. They go back into the job they had before. Let's say you're now a team lead for computer programmers. You're not to do the programming. You now have new responsibilities. And if you're nervous that you can't do this new job, rest assured you were hired for a reason. Your boss or the hiring manager, they saw something in you that you need to look inside and find. You're the person for the job. Do the new job. Okay? Now, new managers also need to learn situational leadership. Now, what the heck does that mean? Situation. Every situation is different. So every day is different. As a leader, as a manager, you're gonna have to put out little fires all over the place. And let's say Johnny is taking too long on his coffee break and his position is, getting behind because instead of the 15 minutes, he took 25. Let me ask you what you should do. Is it possible that you should say all coffee breaks are suspended for a week? Or do you think it's better to deal with Johnny one-on-one? Let me give you the answer. Situational leadership. This is a situation that happened that you're going to want to address. The entire team didn't mess things up. It was Johnny. So Johnny's the one that you handle. Just as little situations come out, you deal with them. Now, if it becomes a thing that all employees are taking 25 minutes, now you do a bigger situation. But take everything as it comes, one at a time. If you see a pattern, because you've been looking at situations as they come up, you're able to see the pattern, address it as such. Copy. The next thing that new managers need to do, active listening. What is that? It sounds annoying, but it's not. Listen, when you're at work with your colleagues, when you're at home with your kids, I'm not saying that I'm like this, but sometimes we are passive listeners. I hear what you're saying, and I could probably tell you the gist of it right after you say it, but that's about it. In terms of active listening, this is where all of your senses are focused on the person talking. You are repeating what they say to you, not exactly like a robot, but you're repeating. Don't be multitasking. Don't be trying to write a note or a memo while somebody is talking to you. Stop what you're doing and give the employees the floor. Allow them time to speak with you and that you are fully listening. All attention is on them. I'm going to kill you with this one. Let it go. I'm not a singer, but you have to let it go. What does that mean? Let go of the small things. Okay, we're not talking about the book, let go of what is that book? I'll pull up a picture here. Don't sweat the small stuff. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But let it go. Remember that now you're a manager. Now you need to start seeing the bigger picture. You are to rely on your staff to handle the smaller details. That's no longer your job. They have to get done, but it's no longer your responsibility to try to focus simply on all the small details. Your staff's to do that. Big picture. That's you. Big picture. I promise I'm never going to sing again. Okay? At least for sure in this video. Next thing that new managers need to pay attention to, you, my friend, are the boss, not my friend. Remember, there is a line now. There is a divide. As much as we want to keep our teams in terms of management and employees, we want it to be as close-knit family as possible. Remember, there is a distinction. You are the leader, you are the manager, you're not the friend. How you define that is up to you. I am able, in my opinion, to be a little bit more friendly because I'm also able to draw a firm line in the sand as to what is expected when we are working and what is expected outside of work. Some people, that's not the way you can operate. You can't have such defined lines. So you have to decide where your line is, but always keep in mind, you're the boss, not the buddy. The next thing, especially new managers have to be prepared for, don't be surprised by people. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, when you hang out with Sally and she's such a nice, delightful person, don't be surprised that now that you're a leader, you're a boss, a manager, a supervisor, whatever you want to call it, don't be surprised that behind closed doors, she's a diva. Oh, she's a ball buster. People, like in our previous point, will talk to their boss different than their colleagues, right or wrong. Also, understand that people may feel a little bit easier to tell you about their family problems. Is it your problem? No. But you're going to learn more about people and you're going to know some secrets that are expected to stay secret. You need to be able to have that rapport with people where they're comfortable talking to you and knowing that you're not going to turn around and tell everybody their marital problems, their why they got a limp, whatever it might be. That's not information for you to share. But remember, sit at your desk, sit at your table, wherever, when you're having these conversations, try not to be surprised. The way I can kind of do it is I assume everybody's crazy. I know I got my crazy, and I'm pretty sure you've got your crazy. Assume you don't know everybody's crazy. And then you become a leader and you graduate into your roles or you've become more comfortable and people become more comfortable with you, you're going to see they're crazy. And that's okay. The next thing that I find especially new managers have issue with, performance issues. Not those kind of performance issues, okay, buddy? What I'm talking about is speaking with staff, employees, if there are performance issues, if things aren't being done, if there's problems internally, whatever it might be in terms of performance, you can't just sweep it under the rug. And sometimes as a new leader, you don't want to ruffle any feathers, you don't want to cause any issues. So you just, let things slide. I guarantee you, the longer you let things slide, the bigger they will become. They're going to be, the mountain out of a molehill. If you can get comfortable, and it only, in my opinion, it only comes with practice, get comfortable calling people out on their bullshit. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel, especially if you're managing people that are older than you or have been in the position, they're, been with the employer longer than you. It's going to feel weird. The sooner you can address people and let them know that you walk a straight line and this is what is acceptable and this is what's not acceptable. This is what things that we need to fix. This is something that we need to look at. The sooner you're going to gain their respect and their trust, whether they like it or not. It's just something that I know where Mike stands. At least it's easier for me to deal with. I'm not going to try that, or I'm going to pick up this. I'm going to make sure that happens. Life becomes easier when people know where they stand, and they know where they stand when they have these performance issues or situations just brought to their attention. It doesn't mean you're walking around with a clipboard and saying, "Excuse me, you did this didn't happen, and this was too early, and this." No. You're just, when you can, when it's brought to your attention, you handle the situation as it happens and move on from there. Even if it's awkward. As a manager, you want to make sure you're available and you're visible. Sometimes people get this idea that, well, I'm the boss. I'm just going to sit at my desk, put my feet up, or I'm just going to, I got a lot of work to do. That may be true, but your team needs to know that you're available when they need you. They also they need to see you around. Don't, go into your office until lunch, come out at lunch, say hi, pass through, go out, go away for an hour, come back, hi, and then back in your office. That is going to develop into a very toxic work environment. Be visible. Walk around. Be pleasant while you're visible. Don't walk around with a with a stick ready to smack everybody. Be visible with a smile on your face. Be genuinely interested in what people are working on, what they did on the weekend. Just be nice and visible. The more people see you around, and the more people feel you're available to be spoken with, in a one on one kind of conversation or at the coffee pot or the water cooler, whatever it might be, the easier life will become for everybody. Available and visible. Now, that said, new managers or managers in general, they need to make sure they're having team meetings when required. Remember, every meeting that you hated going to, your employees are going to hate going to. But when it needs to happen, make it happen. But in addition to that, you need to make sure you're having one on one meetings. This doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't have to be once a month. Quarterly would, in my opinion, be best. Just sit down, let's have a chat. It's not an official meeting, but let's have a chat. Where are you at? This is where I'm at. This is what I'm seeing. I want to thank you for this. Again, goes back to, let's build rapport with our staff. When you have a great rapport, you have people that will go to battle for you and with you. So take time for your team meetings and your one on one meetings. And yeah, you might have a lot of people on staff. Make it work. I saved this one for last. It's a great way to sum it up, I think. Embrace the position you have. Listen, I ain't no Spider-Man and I'm not Uncle, what's his name? But there is a lot, how does it go? With great power comes great responsibility. There is a lot of power that comes with being a manager, a leader, a boss, and there's a lot of responsibility. Never take it for granted. Remember, you were chosen for a reason. You were chosen to lead some people, to get something done. That in itself is an accomplishment. Don't take it for granted. Don't assume you'll never lose your job. Don't assume people are going to do what you ask because you told them to or you asked nicely. That said, I'm gonna grab my coffee. I want to see you in this video because we're going to follow up with some fantastic information if you ask me.